my family. This is Diamond Frandsen from ICND and my esteemed colleague, Paul Hanak as well. So I guess the housekeeping items for today, oh my goodness, was if you have a question, please type it in the queue. And we will answer your questions along the way or at the very end as well. So welcome to the webinar today. And Paul, let's kick us off. This is so funny.
I think I'm back, but go ahead and take it away. Go ahead, introduction. I'll sit quietly.
Good.
Thank
Sounds
you
good.
for being here.
So post-pandemic marketing mixed, and this is going to be a whole bunch of different topics that we're going to be talking about. But first, just a little bit about ICND. Some of you are clients, some of you aren't. Some of you have heard of us, some of you haven't. But we've been around for 21 years now, and we specialize in the vacation rental market, building websites dedicated to the vacation rental property managers. And we also have a marketing wing. We do SEO, pay-per-click, social media, and email marketing for our clients. And we're independently owned still, which is awesome to say. And we are actual Google Premier Partners as well, which means that we're in the top 3 percentile of all Google partners, because of the amount of money that we manage via pay-per-click for our clients, and as well as how well we optimize our campaigns. So it's quite a high status that we like to tout about. But I'm Paul Hanak. I'm the digital marketing director. So I lead the team of the marketing team whenever we're optimizing sites and going down the path of trying to get better rankings and enhance pay-per-click and stuff like that.
I am Diamond Frandsen. I am the brand manager for ICND. I make sure that not only the ICND name is out there in the marketplace, but also any of the small business questions are answered, because we know our industry is made up solely of small businesses and some medium to big businesses, but I specialize in small business management. So I make sure that all of those questions are answered as well. So all right, so let's kick this off together. So aligning your marketing dollars. So one of the bigger questions that we hear nowadays is what should I invest in when I'm fully booked? Right? What a great problem to have right now in this time, this moment in time. Is like we're hearing from a lot of clients out there that they're fully booked. So how should we align our marketing dollars? So do I still need to do PPC? What about my SEO? And what are maybe some future predictions or things I need to do to align up my marketing team or, my marketing, my goals for the future? So we're going to cover and hopefully answer some of those questions today. So investing when you're full. These are things you could be investing your time, your money, and your energy into when you are full, when you have all those bookings. Your Google My Business, evaluate those PPC accounts, your social media, check out your competitors, utilize some free tools, and work on those email lists. When you have no units left to book, marketing still needs to happen. So let's cover some of these topics and see how we can deep dive into these. All right. So the first one on the list here is Google My Business. There we go. This is my, thank you. Vanna, please come on, Vanna, keep up with me. We can make that joke because Vanna's from North Myrtle Beach, and that's close to where Paul and I live, yes. So Google My Business is one of my most favorite tools. So Google My Business is basically free market. And the best thing that small business can do is utilize Google My Business. Google listing and local SEO. Stay active on your platform, update the new available business attributes, earn your way into the local map pack. When you receive a negative review, don't shy away. And remember to post, use the 80-20 rule, 80% of content, make it educational, entertaining, and then use the other 20% to directly promote your business or product. Make sure you're staying on top of these new attributes and you optimize those attributes. You may not have realized in the past several months, there's lots of new attributes aware of. And something I want to call out here is that depending on how your business is listed, if it's a hotel or a vacation rental, there's different attributes available. So just some key attributes here at the top is health and safety, office hours versus service hours, accessibility, if you have wheelchair parking, wheelchair accessible doors, women-led icon, Black-owned icon, or LGBTQ-friendly icons are all now available in this space. There's also a thing called hidden attributes. These are attributes that you cannot select yourself, and these are descriptors that apply to your business based upon what other Google users think. And some examples here in our vacation rental space are, if a Google user is asked, would you consider this place cozy? Is it good for a weekend getaway? And is this place historic? So you can't select these yourself, but they're based upon people's feedback when they use the Google platform.
Yeah, so if they visited your office or near it, Google may ask them, "What did you think about this place?" And then ask them this series of questions that are in there, and they answer whether or not it's correct or not. They kind of compile all the answers together and assign those attributes to your business. So even though your office might not be a cozy place, it's still the questions that it kind of asks, and you're kind of I don't know. There's not really too much you can do about it, unfortunately. And all these things, all of these attributes and everything in Google My Business, it all directly impacts your brand. When somebody Googles your brand name, which is huge, it's that right section. Which way on the screen am I on? Right. That right section that shows all of your business attributes, your photos, your updates, your hours, all that stuff. So that making sure that that's updated also helps you with organic searches in the map pack. Like Diamond said, that's really helpful. So when somebody does seek out a vacation rental company in a certain area, if that map shows up and you have a good Google My Business listing that's updated regularly, then you have a better chance of showing up in that map. But I want to make a clear distinction here that Google Maps and Google My Business are two totally different things. I go on a big rant about this on our podcast.
No, you don't.
Oh, I do.
No, you don't.
I get my soapbox out and I set it up and it's yeah. I don't want to get into too nitty-gritty details, but I definitely recommend checking out episode 27 of our podcast, and I get into why there's a difference, and then I'm sure we all noticed that there are like individual houses appearing on Google Maps now, and they're not really businesses. So there is a distinction there, and it's definitely something to keep an eye out on in the future, because it could shape things a bit differently depending on how Google reacts to this stuff.
So is this the part, Paul, where you want me to put the link in the chat for everyone to go check out episode 27?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good.
You think this is the good time? All right, it's there.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Always here.
So aside from Google My Business, you definitely need to work on your social media platforms. I mean, I hear a lot from our clients, are we doing enough on social media? Should we be doing more? David and I actually, social media director on the podcast, talked about this recently as well, that, you could just be one of those kinds of property managers that does it just to do it. And as long as you're posting something, then and if that's all you can do, that's great. But then there's others that, you really want to try to utilize that tool as much as possible. And now's a good time to start thinking about that strategy in the future, because this, we are turning into a social world now with the items with tracking and whatnot being taken away, and the iOS updates. It's going to be harder to track such things, but it's social media is definitely still something that you should really pay attention to and start working on. And the probably the biggest misconception is utilizing social media to book your properties. it's not directly used to book properties. It's used to trigger emotion to come to your area or come to you. So whenever you're thinking about doing social media, you always want to use that 80-20 rule as well to trigger that emotion for those beautiful beach photos and the snow on the mountains, and make somebody stop. When they're scrolling through Facebook, I mean, you've got to capture their attention, and you got to do it quick. So those happy feeling photos are ones that are going to keep your brand in mind. So think about that whenever you're planning ahead for the future, because this is it's one of those that's a good brand recognition tool, not just for getting new business. Create a strategy. Spend this time now that you don't have to focus on getting bookings, to create a strategy for that brand recognition. Go on Pinterest, start using pins, or get an agency like ours to help you along and give you some consulting. Instagram, Pinterest are two big ones that not everybody is using yet, and they will become, as the generations grow up, they will become important. And then videos. I think we've been saying this for years, but videos are important.
Well, the types of videos are changing, right? The way you can slice and dice videos are changing every day.
Yeah.
So there's all different options of videos available. So embrace a new way of doing videos, right?
Right.
So I have a different option, Paul, for everybody out here who may or maybe, if they have time, and they want to change up their marketing mix a bit, and they want to explore or have an option A, B, or C. I have a different option for people. What do you think about social media influencers, right?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Good segue. That was a good segue.
Queen of segues. All right. So an influencer is somebody that already loves your area. They create a lasting relationship with them for future partnerships. And you can, do all kinds of things with your influencer. An influencer is not someone who you may think of as celebrity that you see on TV every day. An influencer, they're everywhere. They come in all shapes and sizes. It could be that family that has been visiting with you for 10, 25 years. You can turn them into an influencer. It could be that family restaurant down the road that everybody has to go get their fried shrimp and hush puppies at. That could be an influencer for you. It could be, influencers are everywhere. So when using influencers, there's a lot of information to learn, a lot of information to do. So either, do your homework, consult with your agency, but get a plan in place. Those are my number one tips there with that. And also make sure you have your tracking in place. And if you want more information about our recommendations when doing an influencer, reach out to us. Paul and I just did an entire webinar on this yesterday, right? It was like almost an hour long, or close to an hour long, of influencer tips and tricks and contract writing and guiding and research. So please reach out to us. We have a great handout we can provide everybody if you're interested in learning the ins and outs of vetting and connecting with influencers. So that is my hint about new tips. So you mentioned, Paul, video, right? People, if they have video. So here's my hot take for videos. If you have a YouTube channel, but you want to grow your audience, so up there at the top, we have that sub_confirmation equals 1. Add that little bit of information to the end of your link, like we did there. You'll see the before and after. If you add that to the end, somebody that goes to your YouTube channel for the first time and they're not a subscriber to your channel, they're going to see that pop up to ask them to subscribe before they can continue on to see any videos on your channel. So it's a great way to get them to opt in and subscribe to your channel, and it grows your audience all at the same time. And that will only happen one time. So once a person hits your channel, your YouTube channel, subscribes, they'll never see that pop up again. So that's my hot take.
Hot tip, quick one.
Hot tips. Okay.
So let's go back into social media.
Yeah, why is it important, Paul?
Why is it important?
Why is it important?
So I alluded that yeah, the generations are growing up, right, and they are using social media. Now, there are always going to be the Googlers, right? There are always going to be the people that that will seek out you through Google. But then there's a whole other set of generations that don't really utilize Google as much because they're on a discovery phase, right? They don't really know where they want to go. They don't really have an idea of what company to stay with. They're not Googling specific areas. So I want to tell you a story of how somebody actually picked, this is a true story, by the way. Someone picked their honeymoon destination and resort just by using Instagram. So first off, they followed some hashtags. So whenever they were researching, they had no idea where they wanted to have their honeymoon, and they had no idea where they what resort they wanted to stay at or whatever. So they started following these hashtags on Instagram. So destination travel, honeymoon travel, and you can follow hashtags specifically and see what comes up. So as they were going through that, they found 3 resorts and a bed and breakfast that they liked. So they started following the resort and bed and breakfast specifically. So rather than following the hashtag itself with the #, they started following the actual resorts and kept watching what they were doing. So by doing this, she was not only able to see what they were posting, but she could also see what her Instagram peers, like her people that you have no idea who they are, your internet friends, or were tagging about the company as well. So you get to see what other experiences and emotions were triggered from these resorts. And this was coming organically. This was not coming, through some sort of paid advertisement. So the decision was made. The company that was posting the most recent photos is the one who we picked. That was all there was to it. And that just kind of goes to show you that if you can keep up with your social media channels, then you do have some more clout out there, and you are able to see and actually try to get more business from social media by doing it that way. Now, why Instagram? Why not Google or Facebook? Her reasoning was because they can be manipulated. So they can actually be the reviews can be off. There wasn't as much policing going on, and by using a peer network of Instagrammers, then that felt much more genuine to this person. So
what you're saying, Paul, is through this example, this young lady felt that, this was, she felt more comfortable in this environment in social media. But for today's audience, we can say that, they have no rooms at the inn, everything is booked up, but we know in the future that they may need, a couple coming on an anniversary, or they may need a couple coming on their honeymoon. So now's the time to reinvest their efforts in their social media, because people are starting to plan for future trips like honeymoons and anniversaries.
Right. Yeah, and the social media, those are longer windows, right? Because there's the discovery phase as well. There isn't the go directly to Google and type in Myrtle Beach vacation rentals. It's that there's a longer window there of seeking out what the person's trying to find. So, now for a fall vacation would be the time to start doing that and figuring out your hashtags and learning that business. It's a tough one, but getting in there and keeping up with it, it'll pay off.
What a sweet story. All right, free tools. All right, so here's another one that I love to talk about is, if you free tools are always fun because they're free, and they can give you some good information. So setting up yourself for success in this time, if you have time to do plans B or C, learning to pivot, take advantage of all your free tools. One of our favorites here at ICND is Google Analytics. Make sure you have your goals set up. You can get lots of information out of Google Analytics and also Search Console. So make sure all your tweaks are in place, make sure all your systems are running, make sure you have all your goals set. And if you have questions, reach out to your agency. Now's the time to dedicate to make sure that these systems are up and running the best that you can, because you can see right in your analytics, like, where are your visitors coming from? Like, this is the meat, right? This is all the data that we love to look at all day long. We want to know how are people getting to our pages? How much time are they spending on our page? What pages are getting the right visits? And this is a great way to, for us to bump up the content on those pages. So we can look at, the information, the data from Google Analytics and know where to invest our time wisely. So use these free tools that are out here.
Yep. Yeah, and there's more advanced ones too.
Yeah.
These on this page are a bit more advanced, but they are free. I know everybody's probably known about PageSpeed Insights, and you can just run your site through it and run your pages through it and see which ones load better, load faster. It's not one of those. This is another soapbox thing, but it's a tool that you can use with a grain of salt. Because there are times that, even though it might suggest doing something, that's really a best practice. And there's times that we've actually increased the page score quite a bit, but it physically slowed down the website. So don't think about these scores and these tools as absolute truth. They're just helpful guides. Answer the Public is really cool because you can see what people are searching for about your area. These are questions that people type into Google, and you can see what the hot topics are surrounding your destination. So just type in your destination in answerthepublic.com, and it'll give you a whole list of topics for blogging and things that you can do for added content on your website. SEMrush offers a free account too. That one's for us advanced users, but you can compare yourself to your competition, see why they might be ranking better, look at keyword volumes and stuff like that. So it's mainly for agencies, but there is a free version you can go in there and tinker around with. It really helps.
So the last free tool that I like to use a lot is the tiny PNG. It's a great way to, reduce your image size. If we all need more space, right? We all need more compression on our sites. So if you have a lot of images and you want to reduce them down to get more space on your site, you can compress those images using this great free tool. And it's it's easy, it's quick, and it's a great tool to have bookmarked up in your browser to hit up when you need some.
Especially your property images, because those are the ones that usually load the slowest, because we're getting on those times that we have 25, 30 images on our property pages, right? So having those as compressed as you can, even though they are going through your property management system, that you start with a source, right? You start with uploading a nice compressed file, and then it'll just trickle down onto the website.
All right. So clean that email list. This is a good one.
It's a hot topic.
It's a hot topic right now. So work those emails. These are some hot takes on what to do in this time to work those emails. So sending out those whitelist messages, scrubbing lists for non-engagement, creating segments within your audiences, setting up automations and surveys. These are all things that can be done during downtime as plans B or C for the future. And today we're all talking about things that you can be doing to set yourself up for success in the future. So sending out whitelist messages and scrubbing lists for non-engagement. Scrubbing your list for non-engagement is like a passion point for me right now. Right, Paul? Like, that is my passion point that I am on right now, because
it saves
you money. It saves you so much money. And here's my story, right? You had that young lady and her honeymoon story. Here's my story. I recently had a client who asked me to scrub their list for them, and I took some time in doing so the pandemic, has led to a time in workspaces where people have left their jobs. Unfortunately, their jobs have been phased out or they've retired. And how many of us can say they've signed up to a vacation rental, site with their work email? Well, those emails they don't have access to them anymore, but they've gone on and re-signed up for that vacation rental company to get their email through their personal email. So now they're like double signed up on the list, but they no longer have access to that original email that they signed up with. So going through and scrubbing out that list for non-engagement saves you money, because if you're getting to the peak of a threshold, if you pay by your count by how many emails you have in your list, if you're to that threshold and you're going to go over to the next payment threshold, you could save yourself some money here. So take the time to scrub that list. You may have people on there twice, sometimes 3. I had somebody in there 6 times for this one client. Oh my goodness. Paying 6 times for one email. Only one email was engaging. But yeah, take time to scrub that list. So awesome.
Save you money. Save you money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also get a lot of questions about segmenting and should I put people in buckets, and do they like spring or do they like fall? Do they like 2 bedrooms? Do they like 3 bedrooms? And is it worth it to go through that trouble? And the classic answer for me is it really depends. I have no problem with the spray and pray method. It does work. Sending to your entire list, it works. There's no problem with that. If you have a very, very large list though, and you do think that you should have block chunks of people, then that's great. You can definitely go down that road. Just think about how much work it's going to take though to get somebody segmented into a spring campaign, right? So if you know that they always come during the spring and you only send them emails about spring specials or things to do in the spring, well, you're alienating them from coming in the fall when they might be interested. So there are upsides and downsides to segmentation, but automations on the other hand are getting more and more popular. Now, usually you can kind of spot an automated email, right? It's got that language of genericness. I'm going to use genericness to it, that you can actually you can see pretty easily. But with new subscribers or after departures, those are great ways to start doing automated emails that you can nurture that client and nurture that guest. And these are set up in pretty much any email software, or your agency can set it up for you. If they subscribe via this source, then put them in this bucket and run them through the process. Start that automation. Send them a drip campaign. This is also what it's known as, to get them more familiar with who you are and build up that trust. Get them to try to follow you on social media, or just anything along those lines. We've got some clients that do homeowner drip campaigns as well for prospects. So if they do reach out, it's a good way to drip them information about why you should be the company of choice to represent them.
So a good way to kind of, Paul, you just talked about buckets and segments. A good way to kind of maybe feel out your audience to see if you should start putting them in buckets or segments is through surveys, right? They're not just for post stays. You can use email surveys to segment your audience, engage your customers, and find out their interests. Some recent surveys that I've been working with is, people's vacationing situations have changed in the post-pandemic world. They're no longer traveling in those big groups with like 25 people that we've seen in years past. They're now in those pandemic pods. Is that the term that we've heard? Right? Is that one of them?
Right? About right.
About right. So maybe they're no longer looking for a 15-bedroom house. Maybe they're looking for a 4 to 5-bedroom house. So sending out a survey really helps you gauge what they're looking for, how their interests change. Are they looking for more outside versus indoor activities? Who are they traveling with? All these questions you can send out in a survey to kind of help gauge your audience, what their interests are, what kind of units they're looking for, and then you can help segment your audience that way. as well.
It keeps your audience engaged too, and makes them think that you're thinking about them and their needs. So it's a good one up.
Definitely.
All right, competition. I'm always going to recommend study your competition, know what they're doing, and understand how their website is better than yours and why they're ranking better than yours. And it's not just about your direct competitors either. Look at the OTAs and try to figure out why they have a superior system. The site loads faster. It might have properties in laid out a certain way. There's all these different elements that, the OTAs have done the research on and implemented. So why not look at those and see if you can't get your web development company to work with you and trying to get those kind of things done to really up your conversion rates and up your game, I guess you could say. And then move on to your local competitors, the direct competition, the ones that really are your direct competitors. See what their sites are doing. And then, of course, look at your own website, but stop doing it on your computer. We all sit in front of our computers at work all day with our big screens and not our cell phones. Well, 65% of your traffic now is from a cell phone. And while the bookings may not be there via the cell phone, they are finding you via their phones, and they're researching you, and they're looking through your site. So if your site's a bit older, you need to look at your responsiveness again, and now's the time to start thinking about a redesign.
So Paul, I have a great quote I want to share with you. Oh, you stole it and you put it on the screen.
Quick. I'm sorry.
No, but you put it on the screen. Business and digital is mobile is business. That's my new favorite quote. And that is perfect to what you said. We're in front of our desks all day in our big screens, but we need to look at our phones more, because business and digital is mobile is business. So definitely, that's one of my new favorite quotes. So I'm going to take it and say, you know what? We need to start thinking about our new website, or thinking about our websites, because we may think that our clients and our guests love our site, right? We may think it. Oh my goodness. They love that. They love that site. Look at that. The cats with the yellow neon, they love it. Yep. But it may not be friendly. It may not be optimized. Oh my goodness gracious.
Or they're just being nice to you.
Or they're just being friendly. All right. So now's the time to start thinking about, do I need a new website? Is your site 2+ years old? Is it lacking the features that you've been wishing for? Is it reflecting that poor mobile experience that we were just joking about, but serious about at the same time? Are those some features that you may be looking for or wishing you had? Cart abandonment emails, SMS alerts, flex search, extend your stay notifications. Are these things that your competitors have that you wish you had? Now's the time to take the time to investigate these features, see if you can get them applied to your website, and get yourself set up for success for the future. And hey, we have a great blog. Paul, did you read it this morning? It just hot off the press this morning. We have a blog, 7 steps to refresh your old website. So I'm going to put that in the chat for everybody to check out as well. What do you think? Should we do it?
Yeah, it's definitely a good article to read. All these features, well, most of these features, I mean, we've come up with in the last 2 years. So if you have a stale site, there's a lot of new features out there that pretty much any company, not just ICND, has been able to come up with and really make your site shine. So reach out to your company and say, hey, what kind of new stuff do you have? I'm interested.
Yeah, definitely. I put that article in the chat for everyone so they can check it out. 7 steps to refresh their junky website, if they have a junky website.
All right. Pay-per-click. Should I do the Shakespeare voice? Too bid or not too bid?
You just did it, so it's over.
So a lot of the big question that we get, especially this year, and especially for the beach areas, should I keep investing in pay-per-click even though I'm full? Again, that's it depends kind of moment, but usually you can cut down your budget. If you have availability, if you don't have availability, then there's really no reason to bid on any new keywords. Now, you are kind of shooting yourself in the foot based on when people are searching for. Because if you bid on Outer Banks vacation rentals, and that user, you don't know what dates that user is searching for, right? You don't know if it's in the summer or the fall or the winter. They're just seeking out that keyword and then coming to your website and putting in dates. So you are playing the odds with cutting out your budget. And when you cut out your budget, you're not showing up as much. But you do need to look at when people are interested in coming. Like right now, summer's the big time. So, with most of your traffic going to the summer, if you do cut your pay-per-click, it's probably a good thing. So, consider cutting your budget if you have a low availability, if you have low competition in your area too. And then here's a technical one, but if you have high search impression share, which basically means your ad shows up a lot, more than the competition. So, if you can cut that down, it's not going to hurt you because you're probably going to fill up anyway, right?
What about reallocating your budget? So you're talking about cutting your budget in the summer, but what if you just reallocate some of that money from the summer and push it into the fall or winter?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I should. My bad. I should definitely say reallocate it. But yeah, that cutting it out right now and using it in the future or using it next year. We all saw how quickly the things changed, right? And is next year going to be the same way? I personally don't think so. So when we need to actually get those bookings in. Maybe January, maybe February of next year, you have that extra budget to allocate to that. Don't cut your budget if you're still trying to fill in days, obviously, and weeks. You do need that extra push. And then there's a common misconception that just because there's I can't compete, quote unquote, with Vrbo or Airbnb, then I shouldn't even worry about bidding on keywords. That couldn't be farther from the truth, because Google's going to spend your money. Now, you might not show up all the time right next to Airbnb or Vrbo, but that doesn't mean that your ads aren't going to show up and people aren't going to click on them and people aren't going to come to your site seeking them out. It's just a matter, you're not going to show up as much as Vrbo, which is fine. You work with your budget and you're still going to get a return on investment as long as you do it right. If you're not doing it right, reach out to us and we'll help you along. And then there are rare instances where you have competition for your brand name. Like if you have a generic brand, then you definitely want to worry about keeping your presence there for your brand itself. Like if your brand is the name of your city, vacation rentals. Another big one, though, that you can look at right now is stop wasteful paid spending. And this will set you up for the future, most definitely. So there are plenty of times that we've taken over pay-per-click accounts, and we've seen just how much in disarray that they are. And this is a good example right here of Best Buy in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Vacation Rentals, it was a vacation rental company.
I always go to Best Buy for a vacation rental company. I always rent my vacation rentals from Best Buy, don't you?
Yeah, it's got to have Bluetooth though.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Got to have Bluetooth. But yeah, I mean, even campground in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I mean, all of those are words that added up to what, about $10. I mean, and project that out across multiple months. It's a good time to go inside and look at your search terms. Go into Google Analytics, go to the ad section, and then look at search terms. And it'll tell you everything that showed up.
All right, so we've covered PPC. So SEO, that was one of the big questions that we covered at the top of the hour is SEO. Is SEO important? Do I need to keep doing it? Why do I have to keep doing it? Paul, tell us, come on, why?
Always. Always. Unfortunately, SEO isn't seasonal. The algorithms are not seasonal. They do take into account availability in some sense. It's a whole other world that I can talk to you about, and that'll come in a second. But SEO is one of those things that it might take months, years to pay off. And if you cut your budget out now, you're kind of setting yourself up for bad rankings in the future. And unfortunately, that's kind of the way it is. You always have to be changing. You always have to be adapting. Even the new algorithm updates that are coming out revolving around how a page loads is going to be part of the ranking factor. If it loads in chunks, you probably won't rank as well. There's all these different things that you have to have an agency or somebody in tune with SEO to look out for and keep abreast on those algorithms. And it's something that if you're on the top, then you need to stay on the top. So one of the most interesting things, and this has been really apparent this year, if a user goes to your website, let me back up. If a user searches for a vacation rental in your area and they go to that top website, they don't find what they're looking for, they go back. They go to that second website. They don't find what they're looking for, they go back, blah, 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 until they finally land on one that has that vacation rental that they've been dreaming about, or anything, because there's little availability right now.
I was going to say they have availability, right? They find somewhere that has an opening for the week they want to go.
Right. So they finally find this rental, they book it, and they don't go back to Google. Google takes note of what users do when they hop back and forth, when they pogo stick between search results. They go to one site, they go back, so that those top three on the screen did not satisfy the user's query, because it did not provide the user what they were looking for. So that means in Google's eyes, we probably shouldn't rank that website as well now, because it didn't satisfy what the user was looking for. So it's one of those that right now, during the time of very limited availability, it is going in full circle. We see search results pages changing daily, and it's just it's one of those things that you do have to ride out. But if you did have a good SEO plan in place, you're going to stay in the top, but you're just going to fluctuate based on availability. It's really weird this year, but it's definitely something to keep in mind.
So be wary of the future, right? You kind of alluded to that just before, where we have to, make sure we're doing our homework, we're, optimizing, and anything we can optimize, we're optimizing to set us up for the future. We're optimizing those email lists, we're optimizing our Google My Business pages, we're optimizing our Google Analytics, we have our goals in place. Like, we're optimizing everything because we want to be wary of the future, because this is an interesting situation we're all in right now, right? So be wary of the future. So definitely. So one thing we really want to be wary of is reputation management. And one way to do that is handling reviews. So put a plan in place today on how to start to handle any negative reviews. And I talked about it in the very beginning pertaining to your Google My Business, but put a plan in place internally on how to handle any negative reviews. Your reputation management and how you handle it today will definitely impact your future, because we know those reviews on Google do not go away. And so let's put a plan with your staff on how you're going to handle those, right? Be honest, be prepared.
I mean, I've heard from a few property managers that, it's hard to find work. It's hard to find workers to clean houses. If you've got 200, 250 units and your turnover day is Saturday, and you are fully booked all summer long, and, you only have that small window to have 250 units cleaned on a Saturday, and you don't feel confident in that. If you don't feel confident in that process, and you're going to anticipate bad reviews, you may have systems in place right now that will automatically send out after stay surveys, or automatically send them to Google or Facebook or whatever to write a review. Now, my recommendation would be to shift them to internal reviews, send them to your website to a feedback form, so where they can provide that feedback and vent and get it all out, right? Get it all out and have them fill up that page with their complaint. If you anticipate you're going to be having problems in the summer, that way that they'll have that venting done with, and they won't go to Google. They have a smaller chance of going to Google. There's always those that are super mad and just have a vendetta, but this kind of negates that a bit, and you don't have to worry too much about these reviews showing up. So think about trying to shift how you are collecting reviews and handle them internally to where you can filter them and address them accordingly without them being public immediately, on Google or on Facebook or let's not even talk about Yelp. I haven't seen a property manager yet with a good Yelp review. Oh, Yelp. But yeah, just be honest with people and prepare for the future, and that'll help with your reputation management going forward after the summer.
Definitely. So another good thing to start thinking about now is homeowner acquisition. More new homeowner buyers, crazy summer, unknown turnover. So just get that toolbox set up for the future, and get homeowner campaigns ready now, your PPC campaigns, homeowner packets, automated email workflows, beef up your management page. And here's a one that's kind of out there is your contact us page updated? Do you have a phone number and an address? Is that information on your contact us page where people can get in touch with you easily if they're looking to change over their management company? Lots of new houses are coming on the market, lots of people are selling houses. This all crazy right now. So if they want to change management companies, let them find you easily and get your packets ready to go. Use this, I don't want to say downtime. There is no downtime, right? No downtime, but use this time now to set up your homeowner acquisition toolbox for success in the future for when that time comes.
That's up going. Yeah, it takes a while to strategically get all that stuff in place. So work on it slowly over the summer whenever you have the high occupancy, because we don't know what's going to happen with homeowners and the market and real estate going on right now, and everything changing hands, and it is a crazy time. So just be prepared, and it'll be good. I promise.
You promise. He promises. All right. Question and answers. Is there any? I don't see any questions right now in the chat, but if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions live. Or you can always reach out to Paul and I separately. Here's our contact information on the screen, and we can answer your questions in an email as well.
Great job, guys. I'm not sure if you can hear me or if I'm just like a garbled mess of.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, wait a minute, right? Yeah, I appreciate you guys commandeering the webinar. Awesome job. And if, as I said, if you have any questions, put them in the question queue right now and we'll get them answered. Very thorough presentation, lots to absorb. We will have a recording of this webinar up in our system admin in a few hours. So make sure that the rest of your team gets to watch this great content.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mike.
And ICND will be at the summit in September. So if you are thinking about coming, come visit their booth.
Yes, we are. Oh, we have a question. Have you seen a difference in Instagram and Facebook with which one produces more clicks to the website? Okay, so right off the bat, for me, you have to be able to, okay, so Paul, we actually did a little bit of, with this is putting link tree in the bio, exactly, because when you post on Instagram, if you're featuring a property, if you have less than 10,000 subscribers on your Instagram, you can't put a link on the post. So if you have less than 10,000 subscribers, you have to use like a link tree in your bio and then have that link out to your main site. So my opinion here is it depends on your audience, and I hate to say that, but it really does. If whoever, there's two different audiences using Facebook and Instagram. So Just set it up, set each platform up to be optimized for each audience. I think that's my question. That's my answer. Is that
it is easier to get traffic from Facebook.
It is.
It's easier for the user to get traffic from the Facebook, from the Facebook.
The Book of Faces. It is easier to get traffic from the Book of Faces over to your site. But if you optimize Instagram using the link tree in your bio, you can set it up for success.
Right. Well, feel free to reach out to us and any other questions that you might have. We're pretty open books. Neither one of us are sales, so we give away a lot of information for free.
Too much information. We give away too much. We always get kicked out of the kitchen because we give away too much of the secret sauce all the time, right, Paul?
Exactly. Yep.
Quick question.
Hold on. We have, how do I get the influencer handbook? Anonymous. Okay. So, well, if Mike I don't know if you can see who that person is, but if they were to reach out to us, we would be more than happy to forward them the influencer handbook.
Yeah, it's anonymous to me too.
Well then, just reach out to whoever you are. Just email us. Oh, it's me.
Oh.
Okay. Hi, Hannah.
They came out.
They came. Hi, Hannah. Sure. I'll grab your email address and then we will send it over to you. Thank you.
Any last comments from you guys?
No, thank you for having us today, Mike. Definitely enjoyed speaking to your audience and sharing all of our toolbox tips and tricks today. So thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys, and we are going to go ahead and close this meeting, and we appreciate everybody being here, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.